What a very interesting evening. There's a whole world of people who have no class. There's a whole world of people who care nothing about factual evidence. There's a whole world of people who have problems, who need help, who want help, but who can't receive it. There's a world of people who want to fight. A world of people who want to go to war. To the point where there's no getting along with anyone. But some people know how to get along to get along. And so what I'm going to do is just allow you to participate in my personal journey. Of course, you'll be participating as an observer, and you'll only be seeing what I let you see. Right now, what we have is Mozart in the background. So what are we going to do here? Hello, hello, robot. What is the robot doing? The data, the files. So I think what I'm going to do with you guys is share some of these comments that I receive on YouTube about different subjects that I actually comment on. I find it very interesting, the state of mind that certain people are in. So let's see, where are you? There? You're not there. Give me 1 second. Are you with me, robot? Okay, here we are. I tell you, it works like this every time. Okay, here we are. What's going on with you people this morning? Ain't even had breakfast yet. We're just in this place having a little conversation with self. I'm gonna go through some of these comments that have been coming my way, especially in response to some of the things that um, some of the things that I say, my analysis on certain things. I'm gonna pull it up really quick. Everyone, or some people, believe that a person is a nobody. They believe that a person can actually be a nobody. Their mentality is so poor that they can only think of negativity and basically evil things. They actually seek to bring the evil out in others. We want to talk about educational things here today. Don't want to give you too much information. Hey, why hold back? I'll show you a few things in the terminal. I'll create a couple programs for you visually. So if you ever do decide that you want to get into software development, you will have an example of a person doing it right in front of you. Now, I'm not going to explain everything that I do, but I will explain a few things. And if you have a question, you can find a way to ask, maybe by commenting on the video, asking a question. It could be about anything. So there we go. So let's get to some of these comments that I've been receiving really quickly before we get into the lesson for today. Well, of course, my first one is Master Llewellyn is back. This event is starting now. I'm not going to let others know that I've arrived today. I'm just going to. All right, we have a person here by the name of Betty Taylor. And it's on a video entitled The New Crazy: Why Black People Kill White People. Now, this video was actually published by someone who I'd rather ignore, but they have a decent following from what I expect. But what I actually said is it's actually turned into 49 comments at this point, which is, to me, that's just kind of ridiculous. But what I said was, stop spreading racism, you terrorist scum. And so a person came and said, so reporting black on white crime is racist. LOL, you get the exact opposite on MSM. Go there. All right. And apparently 3 people like that. And then another person, the Betty Taylor person, said up. Go to CNN, you fucking cuckold bitch. Now, I wanted this to be uh, a video that a young person could watch. And I guess they could still watch this. I guess everybody's cursing nowadays, but these people just don't really know how to hold their tongue. I asked them to stop spreading racism. I do call them terrorist scum, so I guess maybe I did deserve some of that, but I don't think I deserve much of that. Anyhow, I go on to reply, no, reporting crime as black is good old racist extremism. And then I mentioned to the other person, my word, I didn't plan on being logical, but it happened. Then the other guy replies back, oh, wait a minute. And I actually said more. I said, anecdotal fallacy, using isolated examples instead of sound reasoning to infect vulnerable minds with racism. Now, now the world knows that Colin Flatulence is a terrorist with Betty Taylor as his assistant. So, biggest thing is, I guess when a person says something that's foolish or publishes something foolish, my question is, why do people even comment on it at all? Why do we have this desire to talk about things that we don't like? I'm exploring that right now with reading these messages, because these messages are not necessarily something that I find terribly educational, but it is a real example of how things go. And it's written, so it's a little bit of control here. So anyhow, the guy goes on to say, but blacks commit a disproportionate amount of crime, and that should be reported, if only as a public service to inform people of the dangers that do exist. Now those two sentences right there, those three sentences, assume a whole lot. But anyhow, he goes on to say, what you're doing is playing the old cover-up game. Don't talk about it. Ignore it. It never happened. Now let's explain why it happened. LOL, I truly appreciate what Colin does and have bought a few copies of his books and gave those books to females in and around me, and now they all carry pistols and avoid dangerous areas. So, because of his work, he may have saved countless people. Just because you don't like the facts or don't want to hear the facts or don't want the facts out there should not trump our right to be informed of the dangers in our society. This sentence is formed properly. Think about it. How would you feel if I knew there was a rattlesnake under a bush you were headed over to, but didn't tell you? Instead, I let you get bit. That's not fair or right by any measure. As a good person, I have an obligation to inform you of the danger, and that's all Colin is doing, informing people of the danger. So to me, what this guy is doing here is just abstracting out black people as a collective and saying that you have to look out for black people because they might commit crimes against you and that they're dangerous. So that's nothing new to me. But anyhow, the other woman, Betty Taylor, went on to say, "Well, if you don't like the message, that's too flippin' bad. People have a right to know it free. To call someone a terrorist for espousing information that damages your perpetual victimhood narrative and thwarts your victim narrative and thwarts your collective mind control methods." Oh, my collective mind control methods is reckless and un-American. And besides, don't talk to me about sound reasoning while calling others out whose reasoning power is yours times 10. So this particular person, Betty Taylor, uh, thinks that Colin flatulence has reasoning power that's mind times 10. As if, this person even knows my intelligence. If some people could guess it. Anyhow, two people like that. Llewellyn. All right, so then the next thing is I actually say, actually reply to that. And these comments are going to, my God, it's going to take a long time. So I'm only going to do one of these comments for this lesson, but let me do one other thing. I want to get a little bit more music, a little bit more musical. It helps me stay in the right sort of mind frame. Because without this sort of music, it's easy to fall into a very pathetic and wretched state of mind, which is common. So now let's get back to these comments. This comment. Where was I? So what I said was, so the guy's name is Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft. Categorizing people by race is antiquated and inaccurate. It's racist. It's so bad that it would be more accurate to categorize people by zodiac signs. This racist Colin uses faulty generalizations. He's a bloody cherry-picking terrorist. And then I address Betty Taylor and I say, your reasoning power is null. You're a bit more than a puppet. You're, and I meant to say an, undetectable mind control slave. Rely on logic, not rhetorical devices, mind control programming, to try to convince the nation that blacks are the predators of America. That's an old and buggy program. Let it go. So to that, Robert Kraft had to say, so by your reasoning, the FBI is also racist, right? The fact is simple. It's important to keep track of who's committing the most crime, so we can more stringently police those areas. And the people's committing the most crime. It's simple logic. So he's saying that by my reasoning, the FBI would be also considered racist. Now, I don't know how many, I don't think the FBI is, a racist organization. It may have had a past where they had some racist, you know what, it had a past where it was racist. But anyhow, I'm not going to break down every little argument of his. Let's just keep reading. Michael, son of Jack, then chimed in and said, Llewellyn von Hell, you try to use big theories and pseudo-sociological racial framing to bring the race card out when you don't like the facts. The truth is, the truth hurts. Now remember, what I said earlier initially was to stop spreading racism, you terrorist scum. And this is in response to a video that's entitled, The New Crazy, Why Black People Kill White People. So this is supposed to be a new crazy. So anyhow, I reply back to Michael, son of Jack, and I say, stop that foolishness. Then I reply to Robert Kraft, and I say, please cease your foolishness. The FBI is not the subject here. It's Colin. He's framing blacks as criminals from isolated examples. He's blatantly and openly practicing racism. And he has hundreds of thousands of supporters, apparently. He's a terrorist, and the company he keeps is a terrorist organization. It's very, very odd how you commenters behave as if you're not self-aware. You operate like machines that are hard coded to hate and lie. This has been a terrible thread in your racist and deceptive ways, terrorists. Race is not scientific, and your generalizations based on it are unsound and invalid. Stop it. And so Robert Kraft replies, well, that's exactly what you did. He's right on the money with his statement. It's not he who needs to stop his foolishness. It's you, with respect. So he's telling me that, well, by his grammar here, by English grammar, he's saying that he doesn't need to stop his foolishness. I'm supposed to be the one to stop his foolishness. Anyhow, I reply back. And blacks don't commit anything because blacks aren't a single entity. A person that you class as black does not define the attributes of all members of that class. Doing so is foolishness. Racist foolishness. And then I reply to Robert Kraft and I say, stop the foolishness. You're really pathetic with this position, you know. Classing people by adjectives such as black and white is the height of foolishness. I don't expect you to understand. After all, you're merely a tool. Thanks for taking time to offer resistance to an obvious truth. What a terrible sort of human you are. Colin is a terrorist for spreading lies and deception about American people to other American people. Textbook divide and conquer tactic. Be gone with your hollow words. And then Robert Kraft replied, Llewellyn Von Hell, it's not that my words are hollow. It's the fact that they fall on deaf ears. The point is that your and Colin's take on isolated incidents in America has an obvious agenda to stir up animosity between people who you would otherwise easily coexist. You're not helping to eradicate problems, you're creating problems. Stop terrorizing vulnerable minds with faulty generalizations. Thank you kindly. Remember that America is great because of both white and black people. If you insist on such troublesome terms as white and black. And then Robert replied, well, that's just it. It's not isolated. It's rampant and widespread. And by the way, the only group I've ever seen stirring up animosity in my lifetime is indeed the Negroes. This is what this man said. And so I reply back. I say, Robert Kraft, your use of the fallacy of equivocation is despicable. And by the way, the only group I've ever seen stirring up animosity in my lifetime is indeed the Negroes. Firstly, the term Negro is as hollow as the term black is. That's right. Lastly, you're obviously out of your mind. Animosity is most certainly not a group of persons of dark complexions exclusive attributes. You're not stirring controversy right now, and you're not a Negro. And so Robert Kraft replied, whatever, sweetheart. And so I reply, what a confused soul you are. And he replies, yes, sure, I'm the confused one. LOL. Tell me more fairy tales. So I reply, how pathetically confused you are indeed. Robert Kraft then replied, yeah, me, the FBI, every anthropologist on Earth, any scientist who's ever studied medicine or intelligence, anyone who's attended medical school, any doctor, we are all confused, so the little monkey can feel like she deserves the cookie. This is why people don't like Negroes. They are too stupid to know just how stupid they truly are. This is what Robert Kraft is saying. So I reply back, seek mental health stat and have a better day. And then I say, you fox-bearded scoundrel, what the Lord has made crooked, let no man straighten. Cease your racist propaganda of terror. And then Robert Kraft then starts to go full-fledged ad hominem, poor grammar. I would show you how he wrote this, but it says, listen, dummy, this is how stupid you are. Your name is Llewellyn, comma, is Welsh pagan in its roots. Von means from. Your name literally means female pagan from hell, and you feel you can call on the Lord? LOL. Which Lord are you serving? No comma, dummy. And I say no comma because he didn't put a comma, but I know he meant to put one. And then finally Betty Taylor comes back in and says, so what gather from reading your post, and I suppose she meant, so what I gather from reading your post, other than you are mostly batshit fucking crazy, is that we shouldn't classify ourselves according to race. I would be most splendidly for that. That would mean that we could abolish all these institutions which thrive upon the dying corpse of Western society. The NAACP, the SPLC, the CAIR, the UNCF, the BLM, yeah, whatever. Affirmative action. Asian they spelled, but I'm sure they meant action. All race-oriented shit. I think that then we would have less racially based society, racially based division in society. All those institutions above do nothing but contribute to the divisive mindset and then feed off of it because of its usefulness in dealing with the issues they themselves helped create. We don't need bureaucracy to help us work together as human beings. So I reply because of that essay in Persuasion. I say, stop your foolishness and do better research. Stop your foolishness and stop trying to justify racist terrorism. And Robert Kraft, FYI, Llewellyn was King of Wales. It's a male name in order to despite any woman who may have taken it. Can you name one? Of course, you cannot name one. Shows how unintelligent you are. Please get an education. Okay, bye, terrorist. And so Betty Taylor then replies, what racism? What terrorism? See, it crazy one-liners that make people not take you seriously. See, that is not even English. But see, in academia, we research and study and cite sources coupled with our own original thoughts on a thesis that discusses the subject at hand while trying to prove our thesis. Now give us evidence of these heinous acts of racist terrorism. Okay, so Betty Taylor, you've gathered that a person is batshit crazy. You ought to work on your gathering skills. Robert Kraft, there are an overwhelming number of errors in your writing. Your thoughts are structured in fallacy. Stop being a tool. What a waste of life. Go chat with someone you love. Stop stirring up shit with people based on the pseudo-scientific notion of race. It's bad. It's wrong. It's evil. Then we go on to say, Betty Taylor, next time you have something constructive to write, don't start by trying to insult the reader. You are for the abolition of race-based institutions? Well, stop the spread of racism. You're adding fuel to a fire that you claim you want to extinguish. That's a non sequitur, baby. And so it's actually a gang of other comments. But basically, it led to nowhere. It led to a place where basically they just denied the fact that spreading videos saying that black people are criminals and saying to be on guard against black people, they still think that that's right. At least these few people here. It seems like it's only 3 or 4, but there's so much going on. Just look it up on YouTube if you want to see the video. It's called The New Crazy: Why Black People Kill Whites. Anyhow, I'm about to just wait around here. Wait around here in the trap. I got a few more moments. Actually, I got about maybe about 5 more minutes. No, actually, I have quite a lot more time. But I do want to say that I'm not necessarily here to entertain you. I'm really just here to take up your time. There's so much garbage on the interwebs, on the internet. So I'm just gonna do what I do, regardless of what other people are doing, what they think, what they like. I'll read boring comments. I'll play boring music. You might perceive it how you want to. I love Johann Sebastian Bach's music. I think it's food for the soul. It helps me stay positive. That's where I want to be, in a positive place, no matter what. There are a lot of people out there that exist, or there are at least a couple of people out there who exist who don't get with the positivity, but I don't have any time for them. So what are we talking about? We don't have a topic. We don't have a subject. I'm just back. What do I mean by back? I'm here. I'm doing hangouts all by myself. Why? Because that's what I do. I hang out by myself sometimes. And when it's time to hang out with other people, I like some of them. I don't like some of them. That's just the way it is. But I can hang out with just about anybody. And you basically have to kick me out once you let me in. It's not going to be that easy to kick me out of certain places. But most places, I'll leave if you don't want me there. But here on YouTube, I'm going to just keep bringing my positive take on negative situations. And if I get negative, I just want to go ahead and apologize ahead of time for that, if I ever do get negative. And do my best to be like a Zen Buddhist master. Stay super calm. The only thing that's important is that it's when things get physical. That's if they get physical. So anyhow, it's nearly the end of the world. You see, I have apocalypse here on my screen because it's the end of the world. Now, I love to talk about the Bible. Some people don't like to hear anything about it, but so that means this isn't for you. I'm back and I'm doing things however I want to right now. And it doesn't matter if nobody ever views this. It doesn't matter if people don't like this. It does not matter. Why? Because this is for self. This is for the ego. This is for will. This is something I will to do. Something I want to do. Something that I'm going to do. Um, you know, it's like water on the duck's back. Certain things that can be said. But we're gonna try to extract some good value out of this. We might not get much today, but I assure you we'll be getting plenty of it. I almost want to share my screen with you so you can see some of the things that I'm working on. In fact, I think I will do a little something. I'll share my screen really quickly. Let's see. Let me share my screen with everyone so you can see some of my ideas, some of my plans now that I'm back and okay, so let's try this one more time. Screen share. Yes, like I said, that is apocalypse because it's the end of the world as we know it. But I feel fine. Who knows what song that's from? Alright, so you should be seeing the screen any moment now. And I think you're right. So it's just so many things going through my mind that shouldn't even be there. So I'm not gonna mention them. I'll just keep moving on. Let's see, what do we have here? People even see. Okay, there we are. So we're going to go ahead and go. So I'm sure most of you guys know about CD. I'm gonna CD into the code base here, and I'm going to CD into Python code ls to see where I am again. And I think what I'm going to do is create a file called Master Llewellyn. I'm going to create a file called Master Llewellyn. And in that file, I'm first going to declare the path to the particular interpreter that I'm using. I'll be using Python. I'm going to declare the encoding so that I won't have any issues with Unicode. And don't ask me how I remember this stuff. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is make a comment. This is the program of Master Llewellyn. Alright, so give me 1 second while I start this back up. And again, this is Mozart performed by Pascal. I love classical music. If you don't like classical music, you might not like this show. But who cares what you like? Just kidding, just kidding. Here we go. So let's continue this program. This is just a lot of little boilerplate code that I really don't need to explain to you what it does. If you want to try it, try it. And you'll see that it does exactly what I'm going to show you it does. So I'm going to go ahead here and define main. And I'm not doing anything spectacular here. I'm just setting it up in a standard way. Really, I should have these files automatically generated in some kind of way, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to heavily comment this for people who don't have audio. And main is going to bring all of the program together. And just to make sure it's working, we're going to go ahead and do a test print. A test print of do a test print of the documentation. So let's go ahead and try this out. And bring all of the program together. So it worked. Now, before we continue, I'm going to make sure I keep these things in order. So anyhow, what this is going to do is keep track of this YouTube channel. The topics will vary greatly, but at least I'll have some kind of structure here. So initially, we really only need to, let's say, from right. So what we could do first in main is that we could actually get rid of all of the stuff on the screen. We could bring all of the program together. Alright, so We'll add one more thing just for aesthetic purposes, and that is in fact, we're going to do this times 10. And just for the sake of seeing this really quickly, we're going to go ahead and run it. Bring all of the program together. We're going to bring all of the program together. Funny how everything is working. And let's add a couple of features to this program that we have here. And add a few features. What would be the first feature? Well, I guess we could say we can get a person's name. So let's get name. So then we'll say we'll actually print who are you? What is your name? All right. We'll say, who are you? What is your name? I guess we can leave that one out. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and move forward. We're going to say that the name is raw input string raw input so then we'll say well well hello. Yeah, that's what we'll say. We'll say, well, hello. And we'll make sure that we include the name. What we'll do, we'll also we'll say, well, hello. We'll ask another question. We'll say, actually, no, we're going to leave it at that. And so to make this a little bit more useful, we're gonna say return name. So this is a function that's going to return a name. It's going to get a name. It's going to return a name. And so we may as well do this just like every other function. Well, the previous function that we've created. Might as well clear it. What we can do is just go here and bring that there. And then we can put that there. And then we can see how this runs. So let's see how it runs right now. And like I said, with loving the music, helps keep the mind clear. Bring all of the program together. Okay. So the problem with that was we never called get name. So in main, I'm gonna say name equals get name. And then we can say that'll be it for now. Who are you? What is your name? Well, hello. Let's try that one more time. So what we have to do here is we've got to force it to wait on us. And there it is. Bring all of the program together. Who are you? What is your name? I'm Llewellyn. Well, hello, Llewellyn. All right, so now we need to add another feature. And it's actually almost time. I have about 4 more minutes. So I guess really quickly I'll go over what I just did here. I showed you what's called the shebang. I showed you about the encoding. And by show you, I mean I'm giving you an example of what you could do in your own file. Made a comment here. And I found out how to get a name. Now, we're not saving that name, but it doesn't necessarily matter. Because really, all I have to do is go up here. And that will establish me as the author. Now, I want to add some kind of date to this. So I guess what I could do is get the date. So what we're going to do is get date. I'm going to create a function called get date. And the way we're going to get this date is by we're gonna get the date time like this. Then we're going to return the date. And so we're going to go ahead and throw this into main. And we're going to say, we're going to print get date. Let's just test that out really quickly. Bring all of the program together. Who are you? What is your name? Well, hello, Llewellyn. And then it printed out the date. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a string here, and we're going to format it. Now let's see if this works. Bring all the program together. Who are you? What is your name? On that, now that's interesting. I have to format it in a different way. Well, at least I want to format it in a slightly different way. So the date, we're going to have to say, the date is going to have to change, because I don't like that format at all. Well, anyhow, it's almost 4:44 and it's time for me to get out of here. But I'm going to show you what more we can do a little later on. I know some of you people are trying to make a living. Some of you love life and you want to use your mind for positive things. Well, I say, know thyself. Focus on knowing thyself better. Know yourself better. Do things that you like. Do things that you feel. Don't let people sway you over to their side. If it's something that you yourself aren't even really into. And so, on that note, I'm going to close down this hangout. And I will be sparking up another one where we will continue where we're leaving off. I have not had breakfast. I just do this. And so I'm going to create a program just for this channel, just for you guys. It's going to get more and more complicated right now. It's kind of elementary. But I'm going to run it one more time just so you can see what we've created here. Bring all of the program together, and it waits for me to say something. I could even laugh. And then it says, who are you? What's your name? And then it waits for me to say something. So I could say, I can say Atom. And then it says on 2016, 08/22, 4:44, Atum was here. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful morning. And I will talk to you later.